At some point in our lives, everyone wanted to break or create a world record. But what if we told you the movies tend to foray into doing wacky stuff too? You'd never guess these records were authentic, but we've got news for you. Keep on watching to discover which movies made it to our list. First up, Marvel fans, you've got competition. Now, if you're an ardent lover of all things Marvel, the question begs to be asked, are you Ramiro Alanis? Sometimes audiences revisit movies, such as the Marvel flicks, to recapture the ecstasy they felt when they realized the trailer didn't reveal all of the movie's features. For example, in the Spider-Man No Way Home teaser, the directors and cast members did not disclose that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield would reprise their roles. Most fans were surprised and excited to see both of them on screen. Ramiro Alanis of Florida intended to relive the experience several times, particularly 292 times in 2022. Alanis saw Spider-Man No Way Home 292 times between December 16, 2021 and March 15, 2022, breaking the record for the most cinema productions attended of the same film. Not just Ramiro, but many people must have seen No Way Home several times, as it is rapidly reaching the $2 billion mark. No Way Home is the 6th highest grossing film of all time, earning $1.89 billion at the global box office. The John Watts directed film was not just a Spidey film, it was the quintessential Spidey film, bringing together and honoring no fewer than 3 different interpretations of the character. Viewers who haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home or want to revisit it can do so on Starz and Hulu. Next, Who Let the Dogs Out? Because the main protagonists in Bolt, Rio, and The Secret Life of Pets are animals rather than humans, these films can be watched with a furry friend or companion. The sequel to the 2016 film The Secret Life of Pets 2 followed the lives of Max and Duke when they were introduced to Katie's, their owner's, newborn. Instead of seeing people in the cinema seats at the film's premiere in 2019, canines sat in them. In 2019, Universal Pictures Brazil achieved the record for most dogs attending a film showing, with 120 dogs attending The Secret Life of Pets 2 screening. No worries, Pluto TV now has The Secret Life of Pets 2 waiting for your pet if you couldn't make it to the screening. And James Bond has an image to uphold. Filmmakers attempt to emphasize a character's affluence by having them wear expensive jewelry or elegant clothes, or drive expensive cars. Films often highlight a character's riches by the number of things they own: a handful of sports cars, houses, or ownership over a multi-billion-dollar corporation are just a few on the list. But there's one character that holds the record for wearing the most costly clothes. In the 2015 film Spectre, James Bond, played by Daniel Craig, set the Guinness World Record for the most expensively dressed movie character. Bond's attire was about $56,220. His Tom Ford bespoke 3-piece suits cost between $3,805 and $4,881. That's not all. The James Bond series isn't short on dramatic feats, action sequences, and of course, explosions. No Time to Die, the most recent installment, set the record for the highest number of explosives detonated in a single film take. On March 8, 2019, a total of 136.4 kilogram TNT equivalent exploded to cause these enormous blasts. The explosions were employed in the film's climactic conclusion. Don't go anywhere, because we've got a lot more records to break down. Next, ever watched a trailer that just won't end? A movie trailer must reveal enough of the plot to pique the viewer's attention, but not so much that the audience knows how the story ends before watching the film. A normal film trailer lasts between 1 and 2 minutes. This is plenty for some movie trailers to introduce the character and their problem or antagonist without giving too much away. Others, such as The Godfather and Nightmare on Elm Street, find it sufficient to ruin the entire film. Ambiancé is a 2020 film written and directed by Anders Weberg. The 720-hour or 30-day film followed a non-linear narrative structure that depicted his life story through allegory and abstract visuals. Despite being one of the longest films ever made, Ambiancé set a Guinness World Record in 2014 for the longest movie video with a 72-minute trailer. And some movies are made thanks to loyal fans. Veronica Mars was a television show that aired from 2004 to 2019. The show centered on Veronica Mars, Kristen Bell, a high school student and amateur detective akin to Nancy Drew. She set out to solve the murder of her closest friend. Veronica Mars ended in 2007 before fans helped restore it, and the CW renewed the show for season 4 in 2019. Before the program's rebirth, fans used the crowdsourcing site Kickstarter to express their support for the show and finance a film project based on it. The Kickstarter campaign raised $5,702,153, earning Veronica Mars the Guinness World Record for Most Crowdfunded Movie. Rob Thomas, the film's director and co-writer, stated that he had been trying for years to get the Veronica Mars picture off the ground, and that crowdsourcing looked to be the final hope. Rob had seen a buddy raise $10,000 to fund a record he was working on, and he began to wonder what would happen if they tried to raise a couple of $1 million to fund the Veronica Mars film. The greatest Kickstarter project at the time was $900,000, and his anxiety was that $2 million was an absurd amount of money to ask for. He told CNBC that they raised the first $1 million in 4 hours and had reached their $2 million objective in 12 hours. Thomas and the film's star, Kristen Bell, raised money for the movie via Kickstarter perks. Depending on the amount provided, funders received incentives ranging from t-shirts to red carpet premiere seats. A $10,000 donation received a walk-on speaking role in the film. The film was released a year later in 2014. The film Veronica Mars is available on HBO Max, while the TV show is available on Hulu. Next, props are both essential and expensive on movie sets. Outfits worn by real people require precision and, in certain situations, pricey materials. Long after a film has been completed and released, fans may be able to buy or bid on items from the film, such as the shoes Gaga wore in the 2021 film House of Gucci. To tell a story, props are just as vital as the clothes the character wears. Pirates, directed by Roman Polanski in 1986, has the Guinness World Record for the most expensive prop from a film. Captain Red was the focus of the picture. Walter Matthau, the film's prop, was a full-scale recreation of a Spanish galleon that cost $10,271,100. Amazon Prime Video has Pirates accessible. On a side note, rather than Walter, who plays Captain Red, the lead actor could have been someone else. Mr. Polanski initially imagined Pirates in which he and Jack Nicholson may co-star. However, the screenplay, co-written by Mr. Polanski and Gerard Brock, called for a young male and an older Long John Silver type. In any case, Mr. Polanski claimed that Mr. Nicholson's escalating salary demands rendered his participation in the project increasingly doubtful. And at times, puppets tend to steal the show. Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, and the rest of the Muppets have had a long and successful career, which has featured 8 theatrical releases and 2 TV movies since their debut on television in the 1950s. When they returned for a final movie, the Muppets had previously left the stage to pursue other endeavors. However, a heartbreaking realization draws them together for one final performance, with the assistant of their 2 human pals, Mary, Amy Adams, and Gary, Jason Segel. The Muppets won an Academy Award for Best Achievement in Motion Picture Music, Original Song. The film did, however, set and break a few world records. By March 30th, 2012, the Muppets had generated $160,971,922 in revenue, breaking the Guinness World Record for the highest-grossing puppet film. Even though The Muppets is the most well-known film with puppets, other films with puppets include The Dark Crystal and Team America World Police. Disney Plus now offers The Muppets. Naturally, food fights are a waste and heavy on the pockets. A food battle might start with just one person throwing a piece of food at another. Food battles are portrayed in movies as messy, unexpected, and chaotic, with several participants coated in every type of food possible in their hair. Normally, films depict enormous crowds tossing food, but the film with the most significant food fight is silent. The Battle of the Century was released in 1927 and followed a fight manager, Oliver Hardy, who purchased an insurance policy on a boxer. He wanted to get the money as quickly as possible, so he organized for the boxer to get into an accident. Instead, the fight manager's idea ignited a massive custard pie fight. With 3,000 pies flung, the Battle of the Century set a Guinness World Record for most people in a custard pie fight in a film. That's all, folks. Subscribe to our channel and comment below on which quirky record we missed out on. Stay tuned for more unusual facts on all things Hollywood.